Welcome to the Civil Engineering Writing Project. Our goal is to guide you through effective writing techniques in the civil engineering practice. This webcast is on Language Unit 7, Information Flow in Sentences, moving from known to new information. In engineering, writing is effective when it is easy for readers to read and easy to understand. Accurate, precise information is crucial in engineering, and you want your readers to understand the information. One way to achieve effective writing is by controlling the information flow in your sentences, which means placing known information before the new information. Being able to control information flow will help you express your ideas without becoming repetitive or confusing. Your sentences can have effective information flow when the first part of the sentence contains the known information, usually in the subject, and when the new information appears in the last part of the sentence. Think of it like a journey. It is hard to find your way to a new place if you don't know where you are starting. Plus, putting new information at the end of the sentence naturally gives it emphasis because readers expect new, interesting information there. Let's take a look at an easy example that illustrates how to achieve effective information flow in your sentences. Godzilla destroyed Montgomery Library and the National Bank. These buildings had recently been renovated, and they were going to be open to the public next month. We can see how the second and third sentences start with known information. They refer to the buildings that were destroyed. And what comes after that known information is something new. The new information is at the end where readers expect it. Did you know that readers process information by moving from what is already established to new information? That means figuring out what is known and what is new for your readers is an important skill you need to develop for writing in civil engineering. Let's take a closer look to these two elements. Readers can understand that the information in your text is known if an item in your sentences is previously mentioned in the text, an item is known from the context of the situation, an item is easily inferable from previous statements, or an item that is part of shared background information. An item of information is new if readers cannot immediately bring it to mind as they read. This includes ideas that were mentioned so long ago in the text that readers won't have them in mind, ideas that are part of readers' word knowledge but are so unrelated to the topic that readers won't have them readily accessible. Jumping into new information where readers need known information is a sure way to confuse your readers. The written unit at cewriting.org will help you learn more about recognizing when information in a document is known or new. Let's analyze a few examples of effective information flow from practitioner engineers so you can see how it works. Here's an example that comes from a feasibility study for a roadway improvement. The previous section introduced the idea that the road improvement could be tied to a bridge replacement project. The report is submitted to the State Department of Transportation.
Existing Powell River Bridge. The existing bridge, constructed in 1959, is a 163-foot-long, 3-span reinforced concrete T-beam structure. According to the as-built plans, it was designed to accommodate the planned high water elevation of 229 feet. The minimum existing soffit elevation is 231 feet. The calculated water surface elevation for the 50-year flood is 233.1 feet. Therefore, the clearance of the existing bridge is insufficient for the 50-year flood event.
Sentence 1 begins with known information established in the heading. The new information describes its age and characteristics. Sentence 2 has an introductory phrase with inferable information for these readers. Structures have plans. Sentence 2 uses the pronoun it as the subject that refers to the same known object, the bridge. The new information concerns high water. Sentence 3 begins with information that is easily inferable. Bridges have soffits under which water must run. Sentence 4 begins with information that is new in the text, but known from readers' experience that elevations of floods are an important consideration in bridge design. Sentence 5 begins with a connecting word that marks the concluding interpretation. the subject is inferable. The subject of sentence 5 is also anchored by the known existing bridge from sentence 1. This sentence illustrates the known new principles very well. The writer led up to the conclusion, putting it in the place of greatest emphasis, at the end of the sentence and also at the end of the paragraph. You may have learned in the past that you can improve the flow of your sentences by using transition words such as therefore, in conclusion, first, second, consequently. These words show the relationship between sentences and can make your ideas easier for readers to follow. However, you always need to make sure that your writing follows the known new ordering of information. If it doesn't, just adding transition words will not improve it substantially. Let's now take a look at a few techniques for improving your writing. 1. Revise sentences to have a short known information subject followed by the verb. 2. Place lists of new information after the main verb of the sentence. 3. Add a framing sentence at the beginning of a paragraph. We will present several examples of student writing that need revision to be more effective. For practice, you can pause the video to rewrite the sentences using the writing techniques presented here. All of the writing techniques are explained in greater detail in the written version of Language Unit 7. Let's start our practice with techniques 1 and 2. Here is a student example that needs revision.
In order to accomplish the goals, we anticipate the following activities would be required: research into existing topography, hydrology including historical flood levels, sightlines and priority specimen locations, geotechnical properties of the soil, and availability of construction access to sites along the creek would all be necessary. Once this research was complete, we would develop.
This example is confusing and doesn't follow the known new order of information. As you can see, this long list of research topics is new information, and the verb phrase is information that we already know from the previous sentence. Remember that effective sentence structure should place a short subject before the verb, and lists of new information should come after the main verb. Clearly, that's not the case in this example. Now that you have a better sense of why this example needs to be rewritten, go ahead and pause the video to revise this example using techniques 1 and 2. Here is a possible revision to the previous example.
In order to accomplish the goals, we have planned the following activities. First, we will investigate 5 areas: existing topography, hydrology, sightlines and prior specimen locations, geotechnical properties of the soil, and construction access to sites along the creek. Then we will develop.
This revision uses a short known subject, we, and uses the verb investigate to express one activity. The areas of investigation are listed in the end of the sentence, which appropriately puts them in the area of emphasis. The sequence of activities is also made explicit with connecting words first and then. Let's take a look at our next technique, adding a framing sentence that presents the new information. You may think that readers can easily infer topics or content from previous paragraphs, but it is safer to be explicit. A framing sentence can set the stage for the new information that will be presented in the new paragraph. Adding a framing sentence makes your writing more clear because it reestablishes a connection to previous statements. Here is an ineffective example that introduces design alternatives for a bridge.
Alternatives: a bridge in the vicinity of the current bridge, a bridge located in the central region of the garden, and a bridge at the east end of the garden were considered. Figure 3 highlights the key advantages and disadvantages of each location. Based on these considerations, the preferred bridge location is in the center of the garden.
In this paragraph, the authors are presenting their argument for the preferred bridge location. In the original, sentence 1 begins with a long subject, which is new information. Readers might guess that these are alternatives, but this long subject puts a heavy load on readers. The second sentence begins with new information, figure 3, and ends with anchored information, the key advantages and disadvantages of each location. Now pause the video to revise this example and add a framing sentence at the beginning of the paragraph. You can also revise other things if you want to. Here's a possible revision.
The design team considered 3 alternatives for the bridge location and evaluated them for the 6 design criteria. The alternatives considered were the vicinity of the current bridge, the center of the garden, and the east end of the garden. Based on the evaluation of the design criteria, Figure 3, Alternative 1 and 3 fulfill, Alternative 2 has, Alternative 3 has, therefore, the preferred bridge location is Alternative 2, the center of the garden.
The revision provides an opening sentence that starts with known information, and also prepares readers for what is to come. This framing sentence prepares readers for 3 alternatives, and it prepares them to see those 3 alternatives against the 6 design criteria. The second sentence begins with known information and lists the alternatives. The third sentence uses known information to introduce Figure 3. Like the original, the revision ends with the preferred location stated at the end of the sentence and end of the paragraph, so it receives more emphasis. In summary, readers expect known information to come before the new information. It makes comprehension easier for them. Known information is usually in the subject of the sentence, and the new information tells the reader something new about this subject. One way to revise your own writing to make it more effective is to revise your information flow. Remember that effective writing is easy for readers to read and easy to understand. This webcast has been on Language Unit 7, Information Flow in Sentences, moving from known to new information. For a more detailed description of information flow in sentences and other tips for writing, visit the Civil Engineering Writing Project website at cewriting.org. On the website, click on Materials for Courses and Self-Study, where you will find the units on language, grammar, genre, and more instructions and techniques to improve your writing. These units include comprehensive descriptions and practice writing activities. Practice is crucial for writing more effectively. You can't just know the techniques. You have to see many examples and try them yourself. Thanks for watching and join us again for more writing lessons from the Civil Engineering Writing Project.